Reheating food. Dangerous habit. Or just another internet myth? Let's imagine this. You cooked a delicious meal, maybe rice, chicken, or some vegetables, and there are leftovers sitting quietly in your fridge. The next day you open the fridge, look at that food, and suddenly a thought pops into your mind. Is reheating this going to harm me? This fear didn't come from nowhere. It came from the internet, from random advice, from family warnings, and maybe even from that one friend who thinks they're a doctor after watching 2 videos. So today, let's break this down properly, like a teacher guiding you step by step. Is reheating food actually dangerous? Or is it just misunderstood? Where did this fear even come from? First, understand this clearly. Reheating food itself is not dangerous. Yes, you heard that right. The real issue is not reheating. It's how the food was stored before reheating. Think about it like this. If food is like a student, then refrigeration is discipline, and reheating is just revision before the exam. If the student never studied properly, revision won't help. The same applies here. When food is left outside for too long, especially at room temperature, it becomes a perfect playground for bacteria. These bacteria don't just sit quietly. They multiply rapidly, and some of them can produce toxins that reheating cannot destroy. So when people say reheated food is dangerous, what they actually mean is improperly stored food becomes dangerous, even if you reheat it later. The real villain: bacteria, not reheating. Let's talk about the real enemy here: bacteria. When food sits out for more than 2 hours, especially in warm conditions, bacteria like Salmonella or E. coli can start growing. And here's the scary part. Some bacteria produce toxins that are heat resistant. So even if you heat your food again until it's steaming hot, those toxins might still be there, silently waiting to ruin your day. That's why the golden rule is simple. Cool it fast, store it right, reheat it properly. Not complicated, just 3 steps. Does reheating destroy nutrients? Now another common fear. Does reheating kill all the nutrients? The answer is not really. Yes, some nutrients like vitamin C and certain B vitamins can reduce with repeated heating, but this doesn't mean your food becomes useless. Think of it like this. Reheating food is like rereading your notes. You might not get every single detail again, but the main value is still there. In fact, in some cases, reheating can actually make food easier to digest, like with certain starches. So note, your reheated food is not becoming dead food. It's just slightly less perfect, and that's completely okay. Foods that people are afraid to reheat. Rice. The most misunderstood food. You've probably heard this one before. Reheated rice can kill you. Sounds dramatic, right? Here's the truth. Rice can contain bacteria called Bacillus cereus, which produces spores that can survive cooking. If cooked rice is left out at room temperature, these spores can grow and produce toxins. So the problem is not reheating rice. The problem is leaving cooked rice outside for too long before refrigerating it. If you cool rice quickly, store it in the fridge within 1 to 2 hours. Reheat it until it's steaming hot, then it's perfectly safe. So no, rice is not your enemy. Bad storage is. Chicken. Safe or risky? Another common fear is reheating chicken. People say it becomes toxic, but that's not accurate. Chicken contains protein structures that can change when reheated, which might affect digestion slightly, but it does not make it poisonous. The real risk, again, is bacterial growth, especially if the chicken wasn't stored properly. So as long as it was refrigerated quickly, it is reheated thoroughly. You're completely fine. And let's be honest, if reheated chicken was actually dangerous, half the world would be in trouble right now. Potatoes. Hidden risk. Potatoes are interesting. They are safe to reheat, but only if handled correctly. If cooked potatoes are left at room temperature for too long, they can develop bacteria like Clostridium botulinum, which is linked to a serious condition called botulism. But again, notice the pattern? It's not the reheating, it's the improper storage. So don't panic about reheating potatoes and just don't leave them sitting out all night like they're on vacation. Eggs. The smell problem. Reheated eggs sometimes smell weird, and that alone makes people think they're dangerous. But the smell comes from sulfur compounds, not poison. As long as the eggs were stored properly and reheated well, they are safe to eat. However, taste-wise, that's a different story. Let's just say, reheated eggs might test your loyalty to breakfast. Microwave versus stove. Does it matter? Now you might wonder, is microwave reheating dangerous? No, it's not. But here's the catch. Microwaves heat food unevenly. This means some parts of your food might be hot while others stay cold. And those cold spots can still contain bacteria. So the solution is simple. Stir your food. Rotate it. Make sure it's heated evenly. In short, don't just press start and walk away like it's magic. Even microwaves need a little cooperation. How many times can you reheat food? This is another big question. Technically, you can reheat food more than once, but every time you do, the risk increases. Why? Because each cycle of cooling and reheating gives bacteria another chance to grow. So the smarter approach is only reheat what you plan to eat. Don't reheat the entire pot again and again like you're stuck in a time loop. The safe reheating rules, the golden formula. If you remember nothing else from this lesson, remember this. Store food within 2 hours of cooking. Keep it below 5 degrees Celsius in the fridge. Reheat it above 75 degrees Celsius until steaming hot. Avoid reheating multiple times. That's it. Simple rules, powerful results. So, is reheating food dangerous? Let's answer the big question clearly. Reheating food is not dangerous. What's dangerous is leaving food out too long, storing it improperly, not reheating it thoroughly. Reheating itself is just a process, like pressing play again on a video. The real story happens before that. A fun way to remember this. Think of food like a movie. If you pause it and store it properly, you can press play again and enjoy it. But if you leave it running unattended, corrupted, and exposed, no amount of replaying will fix it. And trust me, your stomach is not a fan of corrupted files. Final thought. Next time you open your fridge and look at leftovers, don't panic. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. Was it stored properly? Was it refrigerated on time? Will I reheat it thoroughly? If the answer is yes, then go ahead and enjoy your meal without fear. Because the truth is, reheating food isn't the villain, misunderstanding food safety is.